Hello, my name is Duncan Fitzgerald. What's your full name, please?
My name is Janice Armstrong.
Can I check your ID and passport, please?
Sure.
In the first place, I'd like to ask you some general questions about yourself. Let's talk about where you live. Do you live in a house or a flat?
I live in a flat. I live in a big city, so naturally I live in a flat or an apartment.
What does your house or flat look like?
My flat it's quite small, but it has 2 bedrooms, a living room, a kitchen, and a bathroom, and a huge balcony. We like to have barbecues on our balcony in the summer.
And is there a good view from this balcony?
There is from one side. From one side of the balcony, you can see Taipei 101, and at night especially, it looks beautiful. But from the other side, you just see more buildings.
And how is your house decorated?
We have mostly photos on our wall, photos that we took of our last vacation. We went cycling in California. And otherwise, we have some pictures from Thailand that we bought last year.
Oh, okay. Well, now I'd like to discuss the internet. How did you learn to use the internet?
I taught myself, if I remember right. That was a long time ago. I guess I was in high school and my mom bought a computer for me and I just played around with it until I figured it out.
And what do you like about the internet?
Well, unfortunately, I don't use the internet as often as most people. I don't like to sit at home and surf the web, as they say. I mostly like it to communicate with my family that's far away and to get the latest news.
So, what don't you like about the internet?
I don't like that those social networking sites like Facebook and those sites. I think they make it too easy to waste time. I don't like that.
Okay, and now let's move on to keeping fit. Do you exercise?
I do, in fact, exercise. I go jogging at least 3 times a week, and the other days, usually I go hiking or swimming sometimes.
Are there any fitness facilities near where you live?
There are. I have a nice big gym near my house. It's 2 blocks away. It's quite large, actually. There's 3 floors, so it's never too crowded.
And do you think all students at school should do sport?
I think they should, yeah. It's even if you're not athletic or you don't consider yourself an athletic person. There are still individual sports that are enjoyable, like swimming and golf or something. I think sports are important just to get outside and exercise a bit.
Okay, now let's move on to part 2. In this part, I will give you a topic and I'd like you to talk about it for 1 to 2 minutes. Before you talk, you will have 1 minute to think about what you are going to say. You may make some notes if you wish. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay, great. Here's a pen and paper, and here's your topic. Describe a photo you have seen.
I am going to tell you about a photo I saw yesterday, actually. I saw it on the wall of a restaurant I went to, and I thought it was really interesting. It was a picture from the 1920s of a group of cyclists that were doing the Tour de France. It had a group of cyclists in it. I think it featured a group of maybe 10 guys. And it's black and white, of course, because it's from the 1920s. and they're all on bicycles, and it looks like they're moving. They're getting ready to climb a big mountain, and they all have their cycling tubes, their extra tubes around their shoulders. And the interesting thing, the thing that people take notice of when they see it is that the guys in front are handing cigarettes to each other. And you wouldn't think today that somebody can do this race and smoke cigarettes, but back then they thought that smoking actually helped their respiration, their breathing, so they would smoke cigarettes before they had to climb the big mountains. I actually don't know who took it. I think it was maybe in Time magazine or something. But it's so old. It didn't have a name on it, so I don't know who took it. Um, let's see. I like it because it shows, I think, a very interesting contrast in the sport between now and back then. I like the idea that sort of any man or woman could decide to do this race, and it didn't seem like you had to like train or prepare. You just sort of got on a bike and left and started going up a mountain. And today we think of it as being this grueling, difficult, amazing race and people take drugs to do it. They take steroids to prepare themselves, and I don't know. It seems like maybe all the fun is taken out of it. Whereas back then, it seems in the picture at least, it looks like people just decided to sort of have an adventure, to have a journey and go out and take a bicycle ride.
Okay, good job. So we've been talking about a picture which you find interesting. So now let's talk about photography. Consider why some people do not like to be photographed.
Well, some people don't think they're very photogenic, so they don't feel like they look good in a photograph. Like my mom, for example, she smiles the same way in every picture. She always looks the same. So she doesn't like to have her picture taken.
Okay, and compare the differences between photos and paintings.
Well, I personally prefer photos as a piece of art to buy because they seem more real to me. Whereas paintings can be more imaginative, I suppose. Paintings can be about fantasy or things that aren't actually there, like Salvador Dali, for example. Whereas photos, you can't really change them too much. They have to be something in front of you.
And assess the popularity of built-in cameras in mobile phones.
Wow. Yeah, people love cameras in their mobile phones. They take pictures constantly. I don't think it's too positive, actually, because often people don't look where they're going. They just sort of stand in the middle of the sidewalk and take a picture of a tree or a bus stop or something that's not actually worth taking a picture of. So, I don't think that they should be as popular as they are.
Okay, now let's move into pictures in the media. Outline the benefits of using photos and illustrations in the printed media.
Well, they definitely make newspapers more exciting. I don't think anyone would buy a newspaper if there was nothing but black and white words on the cover of it. I think using pictures to demonstrate what people really looked like or how they felt during the story, like if there's an earthquake, and to show how the victims are living now, it can really make stories feel more real to you.
Media's use of pictures in newspapers has increased since you were a child. Do you agree or disagree?
I don't remember much about newspapers when I was a child. I'm not that old, so I don't think it's changed that much. So I guess I disagree. I think newspapers use the same amount of pictures, and, well, actually, magazines use more pictures these days, definitely. When you get a magazine, a women's magazine, the first 20 pages of it are all advertising and pictures. So that's probably different.
Okay, and finally, consider whether the media uses pictures appropriately when reporting the news.
Well, as I said, there are ways to use them appropriately to make stories seem more real to the audience or to the readers, such as showing the effects of a disaster like an earthquake or a typhoon or a mudslide, maybe to show what happened to the people's homes or the schools. And that can encourage a positive response if people want to donate to a charity to help these people. On the other hand, there are newspapers that sensationalize news also and show unnecessary pictures of like maybe a car accident, a victim of that. Nobody needs to see that sort of blood or gore. Nobody needs to see that. So some pictures are not appropriate, but some are.
Okay, thank you. That is the end of the speaking test.